Hey Gecko fans, it's Wally with Supreme Gecko, and we have a big update to give to you on Coleonyx mitratus, the Central American Banded Gecko. Now, I did a video back in 2019, and a lot has changed with the way that I'm keeping, and we are getting tons of babies. And I want you to have the same success that I have with producing these animals, keeping them well and producing them. But I'm going to tell you, I have a couple of ways that we do Coleonyx mitratus a little bit differently, and they're controversial. Let's get into it. Now, as you might know, I've kept Coleonyx mitratus for many years, and I've had some pretty good success. We've produced babies. I've been able to distribute those babies. Coleonyx mitratus, the Central American Banded Gecko, is one of our most popular geckos. We put them on the store and they disappear almost immediately. The hobby just loves this gecko, especially captive bred, and that's because they're small in size, about 2/3 the size of a leopard gecko, and they're super easy to care for, and they have tons of personality. I've been keeping Coleonyx mitratus now for, oh my gosh, probably about 15 years on and off. I've had them in the past and had great success, but there's a couple of things that I've done differently this last couple of years that really changed everything for me. Now, a little bit over a year ago, I had a great opportunity. I used to keep a pair or two, but I got a call from a really close friend, and they said they had multiple pairs that they were offering for sale, and they wanted to give me the first opportunity. I'm going to post the link right here so you can see how we unpack these geckos. Oh my gosh, was I thrilled to get these. They were absolutely beautiful and absolutely the best, healthiest Coleonyx mitratus I have ever seen. We brought them into the facility, we quarantined them, and this year we started introducing pairs, and oh my gosh, have we had some great success, and I want to share the secrets with you today in this video. Now, a couple of points about Coleonyx mitratus, the Central American Banded Gecko. They come from, well, Central America, and they like a lot of warmth. They'll do great with ambient temperatures in the high 70s to low 80s, and we give them a warm spot of about 90 to 94 degrees. They do come from higher altitude, so it's important to give them humidity. This is so important, folks. Now, if you go online, you'll find that they're best kept in at least 10 gallons, and sometimes 20 gallons are preferred. That's the internet suggestion. We do it different. I'm a breeder, so we're here to produce animals that we can distribute to the hobby. So let's go ahead and talk about their setup, and here's where you might disagree with how I'm doing this. But this is working for me, folks. Let's take a look. You're asking, what's the controversy with these Coleonyx mitratus? Well, it's simple. I mentioned earlier that the internet suggests a 10 to 20 gallon enclosure. Folks, this is a 12-quart enclosure. 12 quarts. Now, you might think that that's not a lot of room, but for a pair of Coleonyx mitratus, we've had great success keeping them together. Now, I'll probably separate them in the winter when I cool them down, but for right now, the spring, summer, and getting into fall now, they're doing great as a pair. I've never had any problems with these pairs cohabitating. Let's take a look at this enclosure. Now, I'm going to talk about the second controversial issue with these in just a second, but you're going to see this enclosure has a lot of sphagnum moss, and it has a nice peat moss, coir fiber substrate here. This works really well. It has a food dish that is absolutely filthy. They like to dig and root around and push substrate around. We'll throw some mealworms in there. We'll throw some dubias, small dubias, medium-sized dubias, I should say. And we'll add some water to the water dish, and that's pretty much it for this enclosure. We have a hide over here. We're probably going to see that they do poop quite a bit. We'll clean that up. Now, you're going to ask, why isn't it moist under there? There's a good reason for that. I had it moist for a long time, and unfortunately, that's where they would bury their eggs, and it would take me forever to collect eggs from these guys. Digging through the sphagnum moss, digging through the substrate to find the eggs in that damper area. It just didn't work for me. So I changed things around, and here's the other controversial thing about this is I do not miss this enclosure, and I don't keep this substrate damp. What I do, though, is keep a humid hide in here, a lay box for them, and this is going to be cool. Folks, I picked this pair out specifically because, as you can see on the top of this hide, there's a lot of substrate. That means that they came in here and they started digging. Now, this isn't a perfect sign of the potential for eggs to be buried in here, but that's kind of something that I go by when I'm looking through these enclosures and I see this mess on top. It mostly means that they have eggs in here. And you can see, I think, and we're going to open this up in just a second, there's a pair already in there. And they are just doing absolutely fine. Now, there's a lot of variations to these Coleonyx mitratus. You can see this male and female have really, really nice patterns here. I'm going to take them out of the hide and we're going to look for eggs. And they are, folks, they are so gentle. You can see we have some crickets running around here too. They love crickets. You can see I have no fear with handling and moving these around whatsoever. Let's check for eggs. Well, I don't think this was hard at all. And I'm so glad that we found eggs because it kind of proves my point. And I was thinking I'm going to look for eggs and not find any. And sure enough, there's 2 eggs. We're going to go ahead and set these up now for incubation. I incubate at about 80 to 82 degrees. They hatch in about 2 months. And I'll show you how we take care of the babies as well. So I'm going to repeat myself here, but you can see these 2 animals just get along so very well. No aggression whatsoever. For incubating, I'm going to take a hatch box, and it's half filled with this coir fiber, and this is just slightly damp, And I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to put a couple of little divots in there so the eggs don't roll around. Take the eggs and put them in those little divots. And once I do that, I'll take a top and add that top to the hatch box with the name and ID of this group that we have. And you can see MIT06, and that's why we label each box. So I can collect the boxes and put all the eggs away at one time. Works out really, really well for me. Again, I'll put these in the incubator at about 80 degrees and check in a month or 2 months, and we'll see if we get some babies. These are really good eggs, though. Let's go ahead and put these back, and I'll show you the babies. This baby setup is super simple. You can see it, again, has some coir fiber at the bottom, a water dish, a food dish. I add calcium and vitamins to the food dish, and we have a little cork bark here, and lots of babies here. I'm going to put this down, and it's important. Let me show you real quick. I keep this area right here a little bit damp so that they gain that hydration, so that they stay humid in this enclosure. I'll go ahead and water. They'll probably run on me here. Got some debris in the water, so I think I'm just going to dump that out. Put that back in, and I don't know if you noticed, but under the cork bark, we did have springtails, and that helps a whole lot to keep this enclosure a little cleaner. Those springtails will eat up any kind of a moldy, uneaten, not so much the uneaten food, but if the food gets a little moldy, they'll eat that. Let's go ahead and put some mealworms in here, and this is a perfect size. These micro mealworms from Midwest Mealworms or Rainbow Rainbow Mealworms work perfect. Again, throw some vitamins and calcium in here, and we are good to go. We feed every 2 days. These enclosures are kept ambient temperature about high 70s with a heat area with heat tape. About 25% of this enclosure is kept at about 85 degrees. And within about 9 to 12 months, these babies will be big enough to sex out for pairs. Like I said before, very docile, very handleable. Just a great gecko to work with. Take a look at that, folks. Lots of variations here. You can see some darker barring. You can see different colors. This species is wide open for somebody to work with them and get different colors and variations. I absolutely love all of the banded geckos. So as you can see, we're doing things a little bit different here at Supreme Gecko. Again, folks, this works for me. I think it'll work for you as well, but you just really have to watch those animals. Coleonyx mitratus is a very popular animal in the hobby today, and I think that you'll agree they are very cute, they're very manageable, and they're certainly well in demand. And let me suggest, if you're interested in these banded geckos, whether it's the Central American Banded Geckos or any of the other banded geckos, take a look at the playlist right here. It's going to show a lot of other Coleonyx that we keep and have had great success with. Tons and tons of tips that will help you keep your Coleonyx better and potentially breeding. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next video.